calling out government spending that's been supported by the president.
Yeah, it's become a calling card of Kentucky U.S. Senator Rand Paul, who made a stop in our area in Covington today, talking about the country's new tax and spending law. And WLWT News 5's Todd Dykes got a one-on-one interview with Kentucky's junior senator about what he likes, what he doesn't like about this big, beautiful bill. Todd?
Yeah, and soon to be senior senator in the Bluegrass State when Mitch McConnell steps down next year. Well, Senator Rand Paul is glad the new law keeps tax cuts that he supported during President Trump's first term in place, but he's troubled that most of his Republican colleagues in Congress voted for a bill that could put the U.S. in an even deeper hole of debt than is currently the case.
So while I like the tax cuts, I didn't like adding the debt to it.
Rand Paul is one of 3 Republican senators who voted against President Trump's massive tax and spending bill that's now the law of the land.
I was of two minds. The tax cuts, I think, are good for the economy. I voted for them in 2017. Led to some of the historically lowest unemployment we've had in a generation. The problem is when the bill came forward, they added about $500 billion in new spending. And then they also raised the debt ceiling
to the tune of $5 trillion, giving the government more spending ability, but doing little to improve the nation's debt load that's approaching $40 trillion.
What is it about D.C. that...
I asked Paul why many of his colleagues in the GOP seem unfazed by the country's sprawling financial burden.
Many of them talk a good game. If you go to the Rotary in a Republican district anywhere in the country and your congressman shows up, that person will tell you how much the deficit's a problem and spending's a problem. But when push comes to shove, it's easier to vote for the money than it isn't.
Another vote against the tax and spending bill in the U.S. House came from Representative Thomas Massie, whose district includes northern Kentucky. Trump wants someone to run against Massie in next spring's GOP primary, as evidenced by this ad claiming Massie sided with the leader of Iran.
What happened to Thomas Massie?
Rand Paul calls that a, quote, huge mistake.
Whoever ran those ads is an idiot. They're actually making themselves look stupid. But I'm going to I've endorsed Thomas Massie. In September, we'll be doing a 10-city tour of his district. I'll be traveling with him, and I will continue to support him. And he's really one that has a conscience, who's really trying to do what's best for the country.
Now, I asked the senator about the role Kentucky's playing on the national political scene these days. He said he thinks people are very happy the Bluegrass State is in the middle of the national dialogue, making a difference by being right in the middle of the many conversations that seem to be happening all at once. Todd Dykes, WLWT News 5.
Todd, next week, a big week. Billions in foreign aid is on the line, also money for public broadcasting. Did the senator indicate which way he's going to vote?
He did. We talked about that. It's called the rescissions package that a lot of people are going to have to learn about in the coming days. It's an effort by President Trump to claw back money that has already been allocated by the Congress. Senator Paul told me that he would prefer making smaller cuts to a little bit of everything, in his words, including the military, welfare programs, and so on. But without that option before him, he does plan to support the clawback vote. Again, it's known as a rescission package, and we'll certainly be keeping a very close eye on it.
All right, love any of these sit-down interviews we can get with these local leaders. Todd, thanks so much.